Take two. So I just did like 15 minutes of a stream. And it was boring. Not that I promised differently this time. I am going to try to get more to the point this time. I know that's stupid, right? Anyway, cut the other stream, start over. Is because if I decide to save this to my channel, if I decide to, why am I looking at you as if you are going to... I might as well talk to you, microphone, because you are who I'm talking to. You. If there's a person here, that's what I need to be looking at. Hi, if you're here. Hi. Yeah, I babbled. I babbled for 15 minutes over freaking nothing on my other stream. Trying to get to a point. Like I said in last night's live, I need to edit. I really do, because I really need to be going to bed like an adult. An adult with a sick 1-year-old who might be waking up in the middle of the night, having crapped himself. But my point, what I wanted to talk about, is how do we feel like who we want to feel like? And I really hope someone or someone's join in this conversation, because it would be fantastic to hear from other people. Sorry, I ate that cookie and now I'm trying to not be ASMR about it. How do we bridge that gap of who it turns out we are in our life versus who we in our heads would really like to be? And I don't mean that whole, wow, I wish I were Beyonce and had a rockin' hot bod and a super successful career and $1 billion, etc., and the ability to give birth. But the example I started before I so rudely cut myself off was, ouch, sorry, was I started to make little notes. I want to be the girl who says, I love my life, because I know people who do genuinely life and always seem to finish their Facebook post, or I don't even get on Facebook anymore, it drives me crazy, but Instagram or whatever, with hashtag I love my effing life. And I want to be that woman. I would love to be that woman, as well as a woman who feels like a woman, because I don't. I never really have. I don't feel like a man. I feel like a human, and that's kind of the extent of it. Particularly in a culture where women talk about feeling sexy and feeling curvy and feminine and whatever. Didn't matter when I was skinny, and it doesn't matter now that I'm fat. I don't particularly feel feminine in any capacity, nor sexy. And I never really have. I've tried. Which is where I cut off. I'm only 3.5 minutes in, so I'm doing better. That's where I cut off my other stream. Wasn't talking about my first, not real relationship, my first physical relationship. I was 18, and it was a complete crap show of a relationship of two very codependent people who probably had various levels of trauma and mental disorders in the room within ourselves, much less within our relationship. But we were too young and dumb to realize that we had our own problems individually, much less that we did not belong together. But I know at the age I was 18 and trying to live up to, oh God, I pray that my children are better thinkers and more confident within themselves than I ever have been. Because I remember hearing my guy friends talk about how bangable different, it's a very high school and college boy thing to talk about how bangable different. And yes, that's the term they use. I'm not trying to be funny here. It's the term they use. Or the I'd tap that thing. I don't know if kids still say that, but they did back in 2000. Yikes. And um I felt like I needed to live up to them, which was stupid because I was an 18-year-old girl with an 18-year-old girl's body, an 18-year-old mind. And yet I was trying to live up to, at the time, Jewel, who was not built like a little girl. And I can't remember what celebrities I was trying to live up to. And on top of that, as a girl, I was just trying to live up to what my peers were either willing to do or what guys were told they were willing to do. This all makes me sound super. I was monogamous. I had my boyfriend, but he did put a lot of pressure on me to play the sexy role and to allow him to feel like quite the stud. And I was scared not to somehow live up to being that girl, even though I'm not, and I've never felt that way. And I would like to feel super feminine and super sexy. But I'd like to know what that feels like to feel that way. That's not going to happen. I also would like to feel, I think the ultimate thing I would like to be is somebody who does not give an utter crap about what someone else actually thinks of me or my decisions, and not in a like I'm going to be confrontational about it because you disagree with me, because to me that's not giving a crap. So last night's episode of One Woman Talks to Herself for an Hour, I talked about having lost a lot of friendships and relationships, including with family members in my life. And it's always from one of two things. Either one, I don't want to be a burden on people. I feel it is easier for me to talk to you. And right now, I don't even think there's anyone in here. There's a hypothetical you that I want to connect with. And I do. I genuinely fucking want to connect with you. I think because I feel like maybe the people who would be drawn to talking with me are people who at least understand kind of what it is that I hope I'm not yelling in the microphone. I'm sorry if I am. People who kind of understand what it feels like to feel alone or be alone or have this weird yearning that they constantly have and feel completely powerless to accomplish. And I kind of go back and forth between feeling that type of impotency in manifesting the life that I want and the person that I wish I were, and then feeling wildly empowered to be that person and live that life. As I've gotten a lot older, the impotence has just truly set in and the empowerment has just vanished. And that's, I think, the hardest part of aging for me. I'm not worried with the fact that now I can go by hashtag menopause mama, and I'm not concerned about 20-year-olds looking at me like, wow, she's a sad old lady. But for me, when you're 20 and you're looking ahead, it's like your life is wide open. And I can't imagine a 20-year-old feeling like it's all too late. They can't accomplish their life now. They can't accomplish the things they want. It's all done and over. But that's kind of how, pardon me, I'm going to pull something from my computer here. That's how I feel now. And I know 40 isn't necessarily knocking on death's doorway, though it can be, especially at the rate that I'm living. These are not going to keep me alive and healthy for. In the other stream, I was talking about that. These things, I bought them for the kids because there's a book about sprinkles. And then I opened them tonight, and anxiety eating saved me from these cookies. That's actually one of the main reasons I started a live stream tonight, to get me to stop putting cookies in my mouth. But I do want to I really don't want the next 40 years to feel like the last 40 have. Because the rate that I feel things the way I do, I know when I was 27, I remember vibrantly, very vividly, I remember having a meltdown that I actually tried to put it off. But a family member and I were discussing the future. I had graduated college. And we were discussing two other family members. And we had very different perspectives on them. One person, the question was of these two different family members, not the one I'm discussing things with, but the two we're gossiping about, kind of, in essence, was of the two we're discussing, which one do we feel really happy about where their life ended up? I mean, both people were still alive at the time, but are we happy where this one ended up for this person and sad for this person, or the other way around? And our perspectives were so different that it was hard to believe in. And that may not have made any sense for you, but anyhow, through that conversation, I ended up having a meltdown explaining how I was afraid of becoming the one that I felt sad for, who I felt like had a life full of regrets and broken dreams. I don't want to be that person. And I don't want to be that person. It's a lack of contentment, which is a big problem in our society. Not everybody, obviously, but it's a lack of gratitude, maybe a sense of entitlement. But, people talk about their dreams, what their dreams meant to them, blah, 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 blah. And the question is, when those things don't pan out, can you move on? Can you move on to the next thing and accept the different trajectory your life has taken? For me, I feel like if I had gone deeper and harder toward making those dreams come true, and I had failed at them and ended up on a different trajectory, I think it would be easier to swallow. Maybe not. We're talking hypotheticals. We don't know anything here. But I cannot believe I could just talk to myself for this long. This is kind of sad. And I feel stupid and pitiful about it. I have friends I'd like to talk to about this kind of stuff, but I don't have those friends anymore much. I've made friends with people online who I can talk to about this stuff, but distance and life makes it hard for us to stay in touch. And by hard, I mean, we're not even actively trying. And I want to be really close with people. It's kind of just what I want to do. I throw myself in. It's a part of having borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder, one manifestation of that is that you want all or none. And if I feel like if I feel like I'm gonna get super attached to you, oh my God, I sound crazy. I feel like if I get super attached to you and then we're not gonna be there for each other. You need somebody, say, and I don't know how to be there for you because I'm trying to put babies down to sleep, or because I'm trying with my husband and make my marriage work out, or because I just don't know how to be there for you. Um, this says that my connection has dropped, that it's unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Yet my live ticker is still counting, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. So when all my friends started having their kids, because all my friends' kids now are in elementary school, middle part of elementary school, even like they're headed toward middle school, and I just felt like such a burden to even reach out to them and try to connect with those people when I knew they had a whole life I couldn't even comprehend, of bath times and nap times and little league and whatever in the heck being a parent and being a wife and being a whatever entailed at that time. And some of these friends have very full social circles anyhow. They're surrounded by family members and travel, and some of them have huge church families, and they have support. They have a connection. They don't need me. And I most frequently feel like the outsider in my group. Maybe because I'm clingy. I've been told before that I can be clingy and needy. Just by one person. But man, it stuck. It hit a chord hard. um, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person who is needy and clingy. And I'm so not saving this live stream. This is such a mess. As an adult in my late 30s, I've only been 40 for a few months now, so I can't go deep down that road. But in my late 30s, I realized that I needed to make some changes. And in order to do that, I needed to stop allowing circumstances in my life that create certain dynamics. This all sounds so cryptic and political, but I need boundaries with certain people. I have certain people in my life who thrive on being revered or important or smart, necessary, looked up to, and in control. And I often can end up being the whipping boy for people like that in my life, because I am, even though I'm very outspoken about a lot of things, I'll get passionate about it and worked up to the point of where it can make people like that are good at making people like me look crazy. They'll allow you to get ruffled and put your emotions into it. And you can actually see people like that gain power. You can see them. If you are like me, you know what I'm talking about. You can see their sense of satisfaction growing. in the fact that they have you emotional, where it can really pull them into a place of calm because they feel like they've got you. And I'm not interested in having relationships much with people who make me feel that way, who make me feel like I need to succumb to them and just come to the conclusion that they are right. Particularly when they are telling me how to live my life, or particularly when they are making decisions that fuck with my life. And I've had that problem happen. And in the last few years, I've decided I'm not doing it anymore. And sometimes that means kind of cutting ties, which isn't fun. And it's not easy. It doesn't mean that that feeling kind of goes away immediately. It means you're trying to work through it. I feel like I'm saying things that make sense to me, but not to anybody else. So I don't know how to stop feeling like a burden in people's lives, but I do know how to stop feeling like I'm needed in order to make other people feel good about themselves. I'm not going to live my life to make someone else feel justified in how they live their life. I'm not going to make decisions about my life. Anyhow, this is very high horsey of me. Not my intention. And this should get way too serious. But that's the backstory. This is the bleach story. And this is the I got paint on my shirt, so I just painted a heart on it story. Yes, this is a piece of crap shirt. Who else is in therapy? I am. I'm in DBT therapy. I haven't been for long. DBT is dialectic behavioral therapy. And I haven't learned many of the skills yet because I can't find a babysitter in order to go to therapy. I need a babysitter so that I can go to therapy because the hours that the therapies are offered in my area that teach the skills is when Mark is working. And that's when I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I don't know how to learn the skills that I have to learn. It might help me have healthier boundaries so I can have certain people back in my life. But, you know, I was talking to my father-in-law about this last weekend and how I don't want to let certain people get under my skin anymore. And when I'm around them, if they don't get to me, they start pushing buttons and they start saying and doing things to push buttons in order to get me to react a certain way so that they are then again justified in who they are and I'm the crazy one. And hi, my name is Ashley Sue. You probably don't know me in real life, so you might actually right now think I'm the crazy one, and that's okay because in some capacities I am. And yes, I know the word crazy is not politically correct for people who are actually in therapy and have personality disorders or issues. Hi, that's also me. I'm going to own it for myself. I don't care if that's striking a chord with somebody else. What I'm not diagnosing, what I'm categorizing myself as, that's not my problem. And that right there is how I would like to feel with all the relationships of my life. Yeah, is that it's not my problem if you have a problem with this. If what I'm doing isn't impacting your life other than not making you feel like the most important person in the world. And no, I'm not talking about Mark either. For anybody who might be going in their head and thinking, who is she talking about? I'm not talking about my marriage. But I really wish I had people here chatting with me, but I don't have. I don't have a lot of steam right now. I don't really feel like I need to go into an explanation of what my life dreams were when I was 20, nor, my bucket list, because I feel like a bucket list is actually a very shallow way to feel good about your life. Yes, you get to do a lot of cool experiences, and that's a big deal. Wherever you go, there you are. If I don't like myself sitting here, I'm not going to like myself at the top of the Appalachian Trail in Maine, and I'm not going to like myself splunking in New Zealand, and I'm not going to like myself wherever it is where I go. I'm just going to be me in those same places. And yes, I will learn things about myself traveling and experiencing things and checking off a bucket list. I will also have to learn things about myself sitting here in my mess and trying to make it not a mess and trying to learn contentment and having to be where I am. And having to face decisions I made that put me where I am. So the bucket list concept, I don't really feel the need to go into. It's more the inner thing, right? So something else that I would like to be is someone who is gentle and patient. I am neither. I am not gentle nor patient. I am loving, or at least I used to be. I can be very compassionate, but those things are not the same as gentle and patient. And if you don't feel gentle and patient, nothing will make you feel less so than being a parent to two toddlers. Other than maybe being a parent to two teenagers, because holy crap, I'm honestly a little scared for the future. I'm scared of my blessings. Billie Eilish has a song out that's super popular on the radio right now. And the first line is, I had a dream. I got everything I wanted. It might have been a nightmare for anyone who cares. Something along those lines. I may have missed a little beat there, but I don't want this to be a nightmare. But I would like to be, I'm never going to be the quiet, gentle one. My mother-in-law was like that. I did not grow up with gentle nor patient people. So I don't even really know what that feels like. Even the people in my family who claim they are gentle and patient aren't. They aren't. They selectively are for the right people. They aren't. They aren't. They aren't. And maybe most of us aren't. But some people are. But you know who I'd really like to be? I'd really like to be Frankie. I'm more of a Grace in a very Frankie world. I've created a Frankie world for myself, but my personality is most certainly that of Grace. Oh, hi, Grace and Frankie. It's a show on Netflix about two old ladies whose lives, against their own doing, kind of screw them over, and then they end up, well, having to come to terms with that and living their next chapter from 70 something on in a very different place than what they had seen. Damn, maybe that's why the show resonates with me so much. I don't want the end to be a waste. But Grace is very by the rules, and this is the way things are done. And well, I can't do that now because I've done it this way. And frankly, I'm from a whole family of those people. And I think maybe most of us really kind of are. Of course, I don't know. I don't know most people. I just know the people I know, but most people I know are like that. And I think that's just kind of the trappings of life as we know it. We all like to think we're above that. Frankie's the same way. Honestly, Frankie, she lives this more my shirt looks really crazy on screen. So I kept thinking, is that paint smudged on it? No, it's leaves. Um Frankie thinks she lives this super relaxed life free of the trappings of societal pressures, and yet she still has these trappings that she's created for herself that include what a proper artist, what a true hippie is okay with and isn't. So she has to abide by those things, even if she's not truly authentically living them. And I hate to use that word authentic. It's such a cliche buzzword. And so she's not above any of this either, but she is someone who keeps pushing to live the life that she feels like is authentic. Again, I think I just went all cryptic and political sounding. Like I'm saying a lot of words without saying anything. But like she has her own vision quest to try to reckon with things. And I can vibe with that. I would like to do things like that. In fact, I tried right before Mateo came into our life. It wasn't a vision quest. I don't even know how to do a vision quest, much less for one. But I did kind of create my own ceremony to try to free myself of some of my past pain. I now keep a burn box ever since I did that, and I'll throw a little card up here regarding my ceremony. And it probably felt really cheesy and cliche. It's, I'm sure, 100% cringeworthy to watch, and yet, well, it was cringeworthy to do. But I got stark naked in my yard and had a fire and lit sparklers and went crazy, even though I live in suburbia and I can see 23 houses from my back door. And even when I'm down in my yard with the trees and fence around me, there's still 2 houses that could totally see me if the light hit wrong at the right time, wrong time, depending on how you look at it. And I'm not looking to flash my neighbors, so that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I can't just go out and get naked in my yard without fear of flashing the neighbor's kids. But I did that night, and even though it was scary and nervous because I didn't want to be seen by my neighbors, it was still also quite liberating to do. And I would like to feel like I could do things like that more often. And to set flame to junk from my past. Speaking of which, I really should have lit some incense again tonight. But Frankie really kind of pursues things that she thinks will lead toward true joy, not toward acceptance and conformity, even though she herself is a victim of that in a different direction, as to where Grace has to learn, like, she's only sought the life of conformity and acceptance. basically they both had to learn how to not give any F's. And I would like to learn how to not give any F's. And my father-in-law and I were saying last weekend how good that would be. I don't know. I know how to be the person who says, I don't give an F, but I don't know how to be the person who actually doesn't when it comes to certain people in my life. So I keep a big distance between myself and some people, either because I'm trying to protect myself from getting hurt or I'm trying to protect myself from getting pissed off. And I don't want to be that person. And but law of attraction, here I am talking about what I don't want to be, not about what I do want to be. And life's hard because I think if I knew that at the age of 80 I was still gonna be grappling with these same demons, I can't say that I'd want to live to be 80. Is that a car driving by or is one of my kids freaking out? That's one of my kids. Wow. Oh well. Maybe I'll just leave it on that note tonight. Who would you be if you could manifest that? Would you be more outgoing? Would you be more outspoken? Would you be quieter? Would you rather have 50 superficial friends who you get to see, enjoy, and have fun being around all the time? Or would you rather have only 2 friends that you feel like really got you? Would you rather have a conversation with somebody every single day just about the weather and what's going on in the world and about each other's kids, just so you felt not alone in those everyday things? Or would you rather have 2 conversations a year with one friend and those 2 conversations be so in depth and so painfully honest that you felt like that person really saw you and you saw somebody else? Would you be more a much higher risk taker? Would you be much less of a risk taker and be more thoughtful with what you choose to do or how you choose to do things? Would you be a parent or would you not be a parent? Would you would you if you could really change things about yourself? I have some real cringeworthy examples of my entire life wanting to be someone else that probably make me sound absolutely pitiful. There are things I don't think everybody does, but I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to feel like somebody different. I tried to change my name. I tried to change how my name was spelled. This is like middle school. I remember New Year's Day of the 7th grade, my birthday, deciding that was it. I was going to be the new Ashley. I think I even came up with a different name for myself. Because I was like, why not? I was so sick of people calling me Ash and Ashy. No one who knows me has ever tried to call me that shit. And yet people like try to be chummy and be like, hey Ash, blah blah blah. And anyway. But I remember being like, this is the new me. The new me is so outgoing. I'm gonna be this new person. I remember I wore this shirt my mom had given me for Christmas. It was black and had a V shape, a fringe, like black fringe hanging. And I think it even had like a bolo tie type of vibe to it. I think some of the fringes had like silver medallions that the fringes hooked through like a bolo tie. And I wore it because I was like, this is a shirt that the me I am could never wear. So screw it. I'm going to wear this. And I went to Skateland for the all night skate to show off the new me. And the people who knew me who were there made so much fun of me and my stupid shirt. And I felt like stupid, self-conscious me immediately. I remember that night even thinking, I'm trying to be this brash, crazy, I don't give a version of myself. And I still feel like me. Like I'm not doing things differently. I don't even know how to do things differently. And that was when I turned 13. And now I'm 40. And in my family, I still feel like I'm treated like I'm 13. And I'm a mom now, and I still feel like I don't know what to do. Man, this is some really boring, depressing, outpouring stuff happening here. All right, then. And this is why people like myself shouldn't be online talking to themselves without at least an outline. Because if I don't live stream, I have an outline. I don't just ramble off at the cuff like I have. And it's 11 o'clock now. And yeah, my sick 1-year-old is probably going to be up in a little bit. In fact, they might be up right now. And that's what I need to go check on. So I'm going to either go take care of him or go take care of myself and go to sleep. And not eat the cookies and not watch the TikToks because TikTok tonight sent me down a downward spiral. They were there to reduce my anxiety about the state of the world, and instead, all the ones with hashtag social distancing were just making me sad. For those of you who don't understand TikTok, it's funny. It's funny. And we can make fun of millennials and what are these kids called? Gen Zers all you want. And talk about how their humor isn't even funny. It's just ridiculous and asinine. But there's a reason for it. The world's too serious and too scary for them. The ridiculous really can make you laugh. Anyhow, I'm going to shut up. I keep saying that, but I haven't. So, good night. Sayonara. I love you. Sweet dreams. We'll try this again. Probably not tomorrow night. It's Thursday. So, I'll probably see you guys again on Sunday.